Alright, captains, we're back here and on the Parliament. It's been a hot minute since I've been on her, so I thought I would go back and build out to more what I deem as my headcanon as a screen accurate build, because watching the Titan fire in lower decks, it was firing phasers, photons, I believe quantums as well, and I took a little bit of liberty to put some headcanon into it, so we'll do that. Go over the build first. Well, we're gonna just go over the build, weapons, space set, consoles, traits, stations, the DOFs, and then we'll take it to Elite Argala and see how she does. So from top to bottom, what I did to create the look that I'm going for is the wide angle quantum torpedo, which is from the Sovereign, from the C-Store, the gravimetric photon torpedo, which is from the Dyson Rep torpedo, and then two advanced fleet photon torpedo launchers just from the fleet. They're reroll to crit DM damage 4. Space set, where you're going to be using the same that we've always been using, especially for our torpedo boats, is the Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector, the Prevailing Fortified Impulse Engines, the Mycelial Harmonic Matter Antimatter Core, and the Tilly's Review Pending Modified Shield. And then this is the two weapons that we took liberty of putting on as mines just to try to boost the performance. So we use the Modulating Competition Mine Launcher, the Black Ops Mine Launcher, and a Prolonged Engagement Photon Torpedo in the aft. And then for its phaser look, we went to the Omni Trilithium Enhanced Omnidirectional Phaser Beam. Devices, we have our Temporal Negotiator, Kobayashi Maru, Torp Candy, or the Battery Kinetic Amplifier, which is the plus 30% bonus damage for 20 seconds, Subspace Field Modulator, and then to fill out the slot, we just put the Delta Alliance Reinforcements Beacon. For our consoles, we will have the Locator, or Lorca's Custom Fire Controls, Vulnerability Locator here in the Universal Console slot. Then for the rest of the consoles, we have our Immolating Phaser Lance, and to me, this is kind of like when they use a beam overload. Bioneural Infusion Circuits, the Tri-Cobalt Tear Launcher, which also looks like a quantum launcher, multiple quantum launcher, Ferrofluid Hydraulic Assembly, the Point Defense Bombardment Warhead, the DPRM, or the Dynamic Power Redistributor Module, the Opening Salvo, which is one of my favorite torpedo consoles in the game, because when you use it, it takes the shields out of any of the targets that you're shooting at. And it gives you like plus 21.4 Starship Weapon Specialization, which improves your critical hit chance with weapons. The Ordnance Accelerator, and yes, I am also using a little headcanon of the Quantum Warhead Module because this thing also hits hard. And then for the last two tactical consoles, just two more of the Vulnerability Locators. Stations wise, left to right, top to bottom, we got Beamfire at Will and paired with Cannon Scatter Volley to proc the trait ETM to back-to-back torp spreads. We have only High Yield 1 and Mine Dispersal Beta 1. For our Miracle Worker slot, we have the Engineering Team, Unstable Warp Bubble, Destabilize Warp Core 3, which is one of my favorite Miracle Worker powers because of the visuals. It looks very pretty. And then what helps us to try to boost up our damage here is Mixed Armament Synergy, which when we activate a beam, cannon, mine, or torpedo, it will cause to gain plus 50% bonus all damage for the other three types. So I hit Mixed Armament Synergy, then hit either Beam, Fire, Will, or Cannon Scatter Volley, it will boost up my torpedoes and or mines. Then we have Mercy Powered Engines, Structural Integrity Collapse, and then for our Psi here, we have Jams Targeting Sensors, Tractor Beam 2, and Scramble Sensors 2. Traits, nothing too different than what we've been using. A Good Day to Die, Superior Projectile Training, Kinetic Precision, Hot Pursuit, Into the Breach, Inspirational Leader, Unconventional Systems, Terran Targeting Systems, intelligent agent attaché. I almost tripped on saying that. The Boimler effect. Then our starship traits here, we have ETM, or entwine tactical matrices, ceaseless momentum, subspatial warheads, universal designs, weapon system synergy, and then piercing projectiles, space reputation, torpedo pre-fire sequence, advanced targeting systems, omega kinetic shearing, precision, and Tyler's duality. For our doofs, I like to call them doofs, we have 3 projectile weapons officers that give us more crit severity when we fire projectiles. I have a emergency con officer, Doff here, which recharges evasive maneuvers when I hit emergency power to engines. We're keeping this because we mostly fuse the Borg, so we're just using the Doff, which is a space warfare specialist that gives increased damage versus Borg, and because it's a lower deck ship, I'm going to be using Brad Boimler again as the Doff. So there she is. We're going to be taking her in Argala, see how she does. In elite, oh, not normal, I'm going to elite. And this, I will preface saying that this is just a fun build that I love doing when it comes to building ships out in Star Trek to kind of make it as screen accurate as possible to me. Okay, and then that's again taking some liberties here and there, but we'll see how she does. Done. She's holding up pretty well. Looks the part to me.
You are now my. Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over and ask if their boss might come out of hiding.
I normally like to fly around my targets just because it's fun to me.
Separate them. Whittle down their numbers.
I feel like she can also take a beating here too. I love the sound of quantums, I really do. Woo. Quite the Federation thing to do, hold your target in place and shoot at him.
You will stand down and surrender to the Benthen Guard.
I don't think so.
Sensors are picking up small habitations from some of the
at that torps. Torp power phasers. Looks the part to me. Nothing like flying away from a target and shooting torpedoes from your aft.
Picked up a tight beam transmission on a new frequency. We're jamming
gravimetric torpedo, get out of the way.
Now, but it was probably a call for assistance.
Last screw. That ship done. There you go. Last too many ships. That's this thing of beauty.
Captain got this. Excellent.
There we go.
We'll send over a pacification party and take the suspect into custody.
Very, very pleased with how she looks and how she performs.
Assistance.
Let's go over here. So there she is. Definitely one of my more recent favorite ships in game. This Parliament class, one of also the reasons why I like it is it has a Canadian reference, and I'm from Canada. So in the game, I think in this show, the ship was actually called USS Vancouver. I named mine the USS Alberta because I'm in province Alberta. And I think for me, this does really well enough for the content that I play. Is it going to be your highest DPS performing ship? No. Is it going to look good while it does some pew-pews? Yes. And it can also be built better by a lot of other better shipbuilders out there, but I don't claim to be the best shipbuilder. I claim to be the more casual / CaNon shipbuilder, and just something I can have fun with. And that was an Elite Argala, and it did really well. And I'm pretty sure it can do well enough in other Elite content in Stowe as we have it situated now. So there's the build. There's how she did in Elite Argala. I would recommend the ship personally if you're looking for a ship especially from lower decks, because this Cerritos is still not in game. But one thing it does also do for me is it takes some really good shelfies, which is ship selfies. So there she is. Highly recommended for those who want a ship from the new show Lower Decks.